I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. I've never quite been in such a get-up before. I'm very pleased to be joined by Olivier Oullier. He's a professor of brain science and behavioral science, is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, at Aix-Marseille University. Now, first of all, what's going on here?
So what we have here are the combination of two cutting-edge technologies that for the first time we've been using in trying to understand how people behave. What you're wearing here are glasses that are recording where you're looking at.
Right.
So we know exactly when you're buying things, when you're watching TV, where you're looking at. But the thing is, you can listen to me for an hour and think about someone else.
Yeah.
So I need to know whether you're actually looking at me, paying attention, or thinking about something else. And this is where this thing on your head, recording brain activity, comes handy.
Okay.
Because it allows to distinguish paying attention from just looking at. So this is what we're doing for the very first time. And you can run around with it. It's great.
So if I were in a supermarket, how would you use what I'm looking at in a supermarket to give me information or give the supermarket information?
Last year, we used this technology for a cutting-edge study that was run for the World Economic Forum on sustainable consumption. We wanted to understand why millennials didn't have and still don't have sustainable consumption habits. And the thing was to first show them in a very market research lab setting some text that is promoting sustainable consumption. And then when we identify which words resonate in them, then we bring them in a supermarket, we prime them a little bit with its words, and we see how they choose the goods. And this is really interesting because we did it in several countries. We went to India, we went to China, we went to the UK in order to compare things and to be able to say, oh, when you communicate on sustainable consumption and when you're packaging sustainable goods, these are the things that you can do on every market, and there are things that only work in China or in India, etc.
And you do that with these glasses?
Yes.
Okay. So let's try it. So how are you going to test if I'm actually listening to you?
So one of the things we can do is really, we have a conversation.
Right.
This is recording everything and you will be seeing it. And then we're combining it with your brain waves.
Right.
And depending on what is occurring in some parts of your brain, like your visual cortex, which is back there, then we can know or have more information on whether you're paying attention or not. I hope you do.
I am. So I'm really fascinated by this because I help people who want to speak in public. And I think that it's quite often we have such short attention spans. I think there was a study in the vice presidential election in the States where people literally decided within 5 seconds of watching a candidate on television whether or not they were going to vote for somebody. And we have all this idea that you have kind of a split second to get somebody's attention, but that there are ways that you can kind of bring them back. So it'd be fascinating to find out if, for example, I start emphasizing my words and using my hands, if suddenly that brings you back from thinking about the leg of lamb that you forgot to buy for your Sunday lunch and actually takes you more directly here.
We can do things like that. One of the great added value of things like this, and I've been working on policy making on fighting obesity, tobacco, and this sustainable consumption behavior, is to measure the gap between what people say and what people do. And this is crucial because most research, any institution these days, whether we're talking about policy making, the private sector, NGOs, etc., what they're doing is they're conducting surveys, focus groups, but this methodology is limited, if not biased, at times, because most of the people, well, we don't know what is occurring in our brain. So when I'm asking you why you like this product, why you like this candidate, because you're a rational person or you think you are so, well, you're going to provide me with explanations because you don't want to say, oh, I don't know. But the truth is, most of the time, we don't know why we like things. Why we dislike them is a little bit clearer, but not yet. The thing is really to be able to say, okay, let's use these classical methods like surveying, and then this methodology and measure the gap. This is what we've been doing around the world as well. And of course, we're not going to read minds and have a perfect solution, but we're working and we're very, very efficient in reducing this gap between what people think they do and what they really do. And this is of great added value, whether we're talking about a business, I'm working with NGOs, health prevention, etc.
So tell me about with obesity. Tell me about how you've used this to help the government with obesity.
So what is interesting with people suffering from obesity is the way they make decisions, the way the brain is functioning when they make decisions is really different. For example, everyone thinks that obese people need to eat a lot because they need a lot of energy. But what happens is they have cells, they have parts of a brain that are not functioning. And for example, if you like chocolate, and in order, well, so do I, and in order to be satisfied, I need like 100 grams of chocolate. Well, with 100 grams of chocolate, these parts of the brain that are in what is called my reward circuit, they will be satisfied and I'll be happy. For an obese person, it would take maybe 3 times more chocolate. So it's more a hedonic, a pleasure approach to it, more than, you know, needing some energy. And this is really changing the way they make decisions, the way they're, you know, combining the information on labels or the smells that you have in supermarkets. So what we're trying to do is to identify what are these influencers, whether social or physical, on them in supermarkets, in order to adapt some supermarkets where people can be shopping for food, but being less tempted. And whether we have to communicate in health, you know, public health, focusing on pleasure or focusing on health. And generally, we never mention that pleasure is an important thing. If you're producing soda and you're selling people a better world, fun, etc.
Right.
If you're working for public health, generally it's be careful, you're going to have diabetes, be careful, this, that, and you're kind of trying to frightening people, which doesn't work a lot. So we do that, and also we use it with obesity and tobacco fight on something called neurofeedback, meaning that you're looking at a screen, and on the screen you see your brain activity. And this brain activity that you're seeing, you can actually play with it. And then we show you some food, or we show you a cigarette if you're a smoker. And we train you to control your brain activity. We train you to control when seeing something that you don't
want to eat.
Well, that you would want to eat, but you shouldn't. And this is how we train people. It's called neurofeedback, and it's basically, I think, one of the biggest things coming with this wearable technology. The fact that we're going to be able to monitor what we do on a daily basis, just like heart rate 10 years ago, but then you can adapt it to train yourself in resisting some temptations when we're talking about obesity, etc. The other thing is that this combined with mobile technology will also provide you some information about the things you're looking at, telling you there are calories and things and so on.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest, when you look at this, you're going to see that at one point I do start thinking very specifically about chocolate and the coffee that I'm going to have with it. But thank you, Olivier, so much for stopping in to the Hub
My
Culture
pleasure.
Pavilion.
Thank you very much.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm eating lunch.